So today we're going to continue our scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, the war kind of it 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 escalated to the Trapezoid Alliance. As you can see in America, the Carolinians are kind of falling, but also a parallelogram alliance might be in a little bit of trouble as Bolivia starts to kind of go up into the American regions. Ukraine is kind of dying, and Russia is on the attack. The Ottomans are doing well, the Egyptians, the Arabians are doing well, but also the Ethiopians who are pushing up into the Arabian Union's area over here in Eritrea. However, Sudan is falling. However, over here in the south, we can see Tanzania and the Congo are getting destroyed by the Angolan Union. The North Indian Federation is continuing to push in Sri Lanka, as well as Persia, who is finally making a push into these countries. And the terrorists have been wiped out by the Chinese and their allies. If you guys enjoy these videos, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach 1,000 before October. Really hope you guys enjoy this content, and, well, after this series, which will end soon, I'm not sure where this channel will go. I'm probably going to direct it to the fantasy wicso, however, that hasn't been pulling in as much views as I want, but it's fine. Anyway, so over here in America, what is that? So over here in America, we can see it isn't going well for the blue country, who has had its land swapped a lot, and well, they are starting to get invaded regularly from this area, this region. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the Trapezoid Alliance also declared war on the Parallelogram Alliance, so that's just something to kind of like figure out. But over here, we can see that the pink team is pushing back and capturing a couple of other of their cities, and they're pushing back the Texans. However, the Texans are now pushing into the Arkansas country, as these guys are also not doing well now, and they get pushed up until their border. The pink country starts their invasions, and overall, the Carolinians are falling from both of these countries. And this guy starts their invasion of Arkansas, taking some land, but they also, of course, have to fight Texas since they're on the Parallelogram Alliance. Carolina, however, is falling as a lot of their major cities on the coastline here are being taken by this Midwest Union, and it's left as that, as no other countries really want to invade, as they know it would probably not go well, but we will take a look at what happens there later. For now, we have to focus on South Mexico, who is completely getting pushed, and they have fully surrendered. And from here, they start their invasion into the North Mexican country, eventually wrapping up the coast, taking this major city, and just doing really well overall. Over here, the Parallelogram Alliance is not doing very well, as these guys are just completely pushing through, and now Quebec is, well, they're not doing well, and honestly, they're gonna surrender. They realize that they would eventually lose this war, so that's probably a good thing. Over here, we can see that these guys, over here in the south, are gonna join the Trapezoid Alliance to go ahead and declare war on these guys, and they start to do very well, taking a lot in a lot of major cities. Unfortunately for these countries, they kind of start to die. And overall, for Ukraine, it starts to get worse and worse as all of their fronts got pushed back and pushed into even more as Ukraine falls again to the Russian Empire. From here, we're going to go ahead and see what happens to Sudan. Now, Sudan is a very interesting country. They pretty much have all of their important territory gone, and with the capturing of a couple more major cities, the Sudanese are going to go ahead and surrender, which was a very quick thing to happen. After an invasion of this land, we can go ahead and see that these guys are also going to surrender. So Egypt's kind of making their push into South Africa, I guess Central Africa. However, the Ethiopians are pushing back against the Arabian Union, being the only competent African country on the North Indian Federation's alliance, apparently. And that's further proven by the fact that these guys are continuing to push into Tanzania, eventually separating this area from the rest of Tanzania, having it surrender, and then they're just continuing to push up, and eventually all of Tanzania is taken, along with all of the Congo, and then they start to invade into Ethiopia with pretty much great success, to be honest. Over here in the North Indian Federation front, we see that Sri Lanka is actually pushing back to take back three other major cities, followed by four, followed by five, and while Sri Lanka is making their return apparently, and they're actually doing really good. Thailand is gonna go ahead and push into Burma and completely like take this country. This country was a very unstable country, and it's good that the Thai took them over. And now the North Indian Federation has to worry about this happening, and yeah, that's not good. And well, the North Indian Federation though starts to put their all into getting Persia. This is their main goal apparently, and they take the capital and they meet up with this guy, and they also start invading them, taking a good portion of land, and even capturing the capital. The North Indian Federation has now reached the border of the Arabian Union, but the Arabian Union will not let this stand. They will start their invasion. They don't care. They will stand up for their ally and get these rude, evil oppressors out. They are a democracy, however, they are very expansionist, and well, that's an issue. But the Arabian Union is still taking on the North Indian Federation, and well, now they have taken back all these major cities that have been captured, and this country is once again set back up as the brown team goes behind enemy lines. Not really, but they start to invade this area from their, well, I guess invaded areas of the purple country and take back their major cities as multiple pop-up rebellions start to occur in different cities of this empire. And they come together to completely take back all of this land that the North Indian Federation has took. They also start to invade into the purple country and this Turkmenistan country, and they surrender very quickly, followed by the purple country. And now the North Indian Federation is starting to worry, have their front lines collapsed. These guys are gonna go ahead and take back their land in the Caribbean. However, the North Mexicans have now fell, and the southern, I guess the Bolivians, have snaked their way up into North America, taking even more cities now from the Parallelogram Alliance, showing their hatred towards this alliance, making Texas have to get their territories back. However, something unfortunate happened within Bolivia, which is a full-on revolution out of these areas in Colombia. Areas of Colombia start to rise up in support of independence movements. This soon occurs within Venezuela and even in French Guiana. All of these areas start to want independence again, and this is not good. These guys are kind of trapped, and well, the Colombians are not helping this. They're continuing to push in to these guys' territory, now pushing in to Parallelogram Alliance territory, as they also push into these areas in the north. And we can see that the blue country in Venezuela also starts to expand, and Bolivia is not doing well, so they're going to have to pull out of these areas, and that is, of course, not a good thing, as they are starting to get liberated back under the gold country. And, yeah, there goes. But uh-oh, something just shot off in the Arabian Union. The North Indian Federation has launched a nuke on the Arabian Union right, let's see, let me get the nuclear weapon layer right here. Then they launch a nuke right here on the capital and areas around it. Then the Arabian Union is going to go ahead and nuke the North Indian Federation around its capital and in it, as well as important areas along the coastline. And well, these guys are not doing well, so they're gonna nuke these guys, and like they nuke them a lot, like it's bad. And well, it's because the hatred towards South India slash Sri Lanka. They hate Sri Lanka a lot, and they also nuke these guys' front line, which is in their own territory. So I guess these guys are pretty dumb. And then they also nuke these guys and like a bunch of them. But then Egypt's gonna go ahead and nuke the North Indian Federation, and they nuke them a whole bunch. And then the Arabian Union is going to start nuking areas in Colombia, Ethiopia, as well as in these countries. And then nukes go over here with these guys. Just yeah, there's a bunch of nukes. The Bolivians are nuking their own invaded territory, and also nuking these guys, which the Parallelogram Alliance then is gonna go ahead and nuke the heck out of this. These guys are gonna get some torture. These guys are gonna get nuked a couple times, along with Russia. These guys. It's just whoever is with the Arabian Union and their alliance, the North Indian Federation, is nuking. It's not a good look, but a lot of nukes are now out, and if we go ahead and turn off the major cities layer, these are all of the nuclear weapons. That's a lot of nukes. It's a lot of nukes, and then you have to account for this too. So this is a lot of nukes. And then the Parallelogram Alliance is gonna get it. So yeah, they get it pretty much like everywhere, and yeah. And then somehow this guy gets nuked too. And then these guys get nuked, and then these guys get nuked, and then these guys get nuked, and these, and it's like, dude, what are we doing here? Anyways, let's go ahead and turn our city's map on so we can continue and end this war. The Arabian Union starts to push back in Eritrea, taking back a bunch of major cities, all their major cities in Eritrea, followed by the whole thing. And now they start an invasion out, starting to take a lot of areas in Somalia. And they take the capital of Ethiopia, with these guys also helping as they make their invasion into this orange-ish country. Sri Lanka fully pushes back and pushes into this country. And now the North Indian Federation is no longer invading, and they collapse. A large rebellion forms up in this region of Pakistan, like pretty much just, yeah, they take all of this area, followed by some other independence movements that will go ahead and join this, so that it gets really close to the capital, as you can see. Sri Lanka pushes up and captures the capital, as this country has no more army. And the North Indian Federation falls to a combination of Thai, Arabian Union, and Pakistani troops. It's just a combined, mostly just Arabian Union troops, as they just don't want to see this happen. They don't like the North Indian Federation and what they stand for, so they are now gone. Now it's just the African front, so let's go ahead and focus on the Californians, or I guess the Arizonans, who are also collapsing as a bunch of Utah rebellions start to form. Also in the Oklahomans, followed by resistance. Resistance, just a bunch of resistance forms. These are out of the former areas of the Orange Country, who used to go up all in here, and their country is engulfed by it. These areas go ahead and go back to the blue team. And by the way, Carolina falls, and they sign a truce with these countries down here. This yellow country over here comes back. And this large area of the country right here, which is above Texas, comes back, and they are now back under, well, I guess their own, and there's a lot of green and yellow in this region. I guess we can color this orange again. Washington resistance forms up, and they try to fight it back. I'm not gonna lie, they do try, and they do pretty well. However, then their former partner in this whole, in this whole thing, this is the other part of the Union. They're going to fall and declare their own independence. But the Gold Mexicans, they still push back. But they have a coup, and now the government is democratic, and now they are reliberating, or maybe taking over, the former Dark Cyan country, as Colombia moves up and takes this land as well. Peruvian resistance forms up, followed by this old yellow country that used to exist in this area. They declare independence, and then Ecuador declares independence, and then it's pretty much all over for as that. As well, we can see that these areas will reclaim what they used to own, and there is no longer a Bolivia, as that is now under Peru. Bolivia is the first, or I guess the second power that has been fall, and well, these guys are also gonna go ahead and fall. And these guys get out of the war, as well as these guys. And now it's just the Arabian Union. What are they gonna do? Well, they're gonna continue to move up. I mean, their allies in the Trapezoid Alliance in Angola are gonna go ahead and move up into this country. taking a lot of major cities until they surrender, as well as the rest of these guys. And, well, there goes the North Indian Federation's alliance. They are no more. And now are just, they're gone. And the Arabian Union and its allies have prevailed. But the Bolivian alliance still has one more, and no, they don't. Alaska's then gonna declare independence, and well, they fully take Alberta with no more resistance happening over there. And we can see that Alaska is back again, and these guys start to fall as multiple of their areas start to be taken by the Mexicans. And well, they're gonna go ahead and surrender, and there goes the Parallelogram Alliance, and now it's just Texas. There goes Texas. So, now there might be a couple countries still left, but the world is under the influence of the Arabian Union and the Trapezoid Alliance. Next episode, we're going to take a look at a peace treaty. It will be a very, very weird peace treaty. And we can see that America has been liberated. South America has been liberated. India has been liberated. And parts of Asia and Europe have been liberated. Now, we're going to go ahead and just end today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, see you guys in the next video, which will be in a couple days. Bye.